Hello guys, and welcome to a new Broken Arrow video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I wanted to do a bit of a deck showcase that goes through all of the decks that I made during the press only build in early April. Do bear in mind though that when the game comes out I imagine my decks will be quite different, but I thought it'd be interesting to go through them anyway and just kind of talk through what you guys can expect when the game comes out in June. So let's go ahead and start with the Airborne Marine deck here. Now, the Airborne Marine deck is a really fun deck that relies a lot on its aircraft. So we'll start in the air tab here. We have the Prowler that uses 4 seed missiles, and you're going to bring in both of these at the same time, break down the enemy's AA network, and then you're going to hit them hard with a combination of the Global Hawk for recon, plus the Harriers with Mavericks for dealing with hard targets. You've also got F-18s to cover the skies, the F-18C, and then the F-18D with more Mavericks. And then I've also got a couple of night attack Harriers with a mix of Snake Eyes and Firebombs, so really good for dealing with infantry. So you've got the Harriers and the F-18s for absolutely smashing hard targets and even light targets as well. And the bombs will do the rest against infantry that are in buildings. So that's kind of the way that this deck works as a whole. And then everything is just built around supporting that. So you can hold some ground using the M1A1s. Like the M1A1 HC is really good because it has the 30% ECM if you put the jammer on it, which is really, really good, because basically what that means is the enemy HGMs have a 30% chance straight up of missing, which is actually kind of crazy. You can also bring in the M1A1 FEP trophy, which gives you 4 charges of the trophy in this deck, so you can get some serious tanks. And then I've also got the LAV in there as well, just for some long range support. AA tab is pretty weak, and also so is your artillery. So whilst I do have the Brutus, it is quite often outranged by enemy artillery. But you've got the Miklik M1 combination for like strong ground pushes if you want to go for that instead. Like if your team is also going for a lot of air and therefore you need to do something on the ground, it does give you that option. It's just not as good because you can't defend yourself as easily against incoming aircraft unless you're using your own aircraft. So you have to be really on point with that, because the Slam Ram's really not as good as something like a Patriot, right? So that's the only thing you got to really worry about. Otherwise, Airborne Plus, really good. 600 meter range guns makes them outrange most Russian infantry, so really take advantage of that. And then they do have the Moors with the 600 millimeters of heat penetration. They get 6 of these, so they're able to deal with vehicles too. And then I've even got some cat javelins in here if I want to add javelins to the mix. We got the Stinger teams, which get 2 Stingers. So yeah, everything about this deck I really, really enjoy. It's a very fun deck to use, maybe one of my favorites. Then we have the Moto mech deck here. The Moto mech deck is interesting. It's not really my favorite deck. I was trying it out and it does get access to like the Spetsnaz Gru. It's got the like snipers in here. I've got the BRDM. The Kozliks are super fun. These are great for like running around the edge of the map, and they're also like decent fire support, honestly, with the KPVT. Diversanti can be really good using the RPG-30, because the RPG-30 can actually get through APS, like active protection, because it fires like a fake missile at the active protection, which sets it off just before it fires its main rocket. There's no way to tell that that's actually happening in the game just yet, but I think they're going to add a trait or something, so you know that's how it works. But it does work like that at the moment in the game, so that's really cool. In terms of infantry, the infantry tabs are pretty decent. Again, you get a double man-pad squad. Really like double man-pad squads. SSO, kind of underperformed in my opinion. I mean, they're pretty expensive, and they're not as good as like Ognemachiki for just clearing out infantry. So yeah, not a huge fan of those. I think you're just better off bringing in these 4-man squads if you want to clean out infantry. The SSO are just expensive for doing that. Unless you smoke and then run them into a building where someone is. That's another way of doing it. But Motostrelki Metis, or Motostrelki AGS in this case, really strong. Like this squad a lot. You know, get a grenade launcher as part of a 7-man team, so they're nice. We've got some standard Motostrelki in there as well. They've got the RPG-26 Moto Bokotha. These guys have a 500mm heat RPG. just everything about like this infantry tab is a bit mediocre, but double HGM team's nice, double Igloo team's nice. You got a decent vehicle tab, T-72s, which can be upgraded massively to 18 health with active protection, and then you back them up with the UR-77s, which are mine clearing boys that absolutely demolish infantry and buildings. You've got a really, really strong pushing combination there. I've got the Sturm, really good value for money, like long range HGM. Support tab in this deck though is insane. The only reason I'm not a massive fan of this deck, honestly, is because I'm not like a massive arty user. So if you love artillery, you'll love this deck. Like the Moto mech is incredible. You get access to the Smirch, which can be upgraded to the Tornado, which is really good. You've got access to the Grads, which you can use incendiary rockets. You've got the Tulpans in here, which are like really, really strong, or at least they were, you know, in the press only build. You've got the Malka if you want to go down that route instead. Obviously, take one or the other, don't take both, because I don't think you're ever going to have enough points to bring them all in. I guess you could, but you're going to have some decent frontline going on. You can also bring the Sosna. You've got at least one card of the S300s, which is super good. You can mess around with ballistic missiles if you want. Like, there is a lot of choice here in the support tab of the Moto mech, which is really, really fun. You get a decent enough helicopter. In this case, I've just got it as like an all-purpose Igloo attacker rocket boy. And then we've got the Su-25 for dealing with like really heavy targets, like those moments when you're going to get charged at by the enemy Abrams. Su-24MP is your seed. It comes with 3 seed missiles, so I don't know if I want to like maybe just drop the Su-27 for air-to-air, but it's really important that you do have at least one ASF for spotting drones, really. Otherwise, you're just going to have a drone, like especially the stealth drone, flying above you, and you're not going to know it's there until it gets close enough that your S300 spots it, or the Su-27's like comes in and sees it at a distance. So yeah, that's the Moto mech. Not my favorite deck. It's kind of like probably on the lower side of the decks that I enjoyed. The special armor, this one is potentially one of the strongest in my opinion. It's a really nice combination. It's suffering in the air tab, but in terms of your infantry quality, it's fantastic. Like, you get the special tactics teams. These guys are absolutely cracked. They have a like 700 meter, 600 meter range engagement. Again, it's like the same as the Airborne, where you can just like engage enemy infantry out of range and just do so much damage before they even get close. And then the Stinger is just nice because you basically use them as manpad squads, and then they're also cleaning out infantry for you. The Rangers RRC get the Moors again, so just a great like recon combination here that you can bring in with Little Birds as well. And Little Birds are super cheap, so getting them to the front line is really, really easy and fast. Ranger Snipers, I mean, it's just a stealthy squad there. The Sentinel is like game changing because it has stealth. Unless, like I said, you have a like S300 close enough or an enemy ASF is in the air, this thing is just invisible. So it's really, really useful in those situations. It will still get one shot out of the sky, so do bear that in mind. I've got some Greenberry snipers in here as well. And the Greenberry, I didn't really work them out. I don't think the XM25 Punisher loadout is that good. The sniper rifle loadout seemed okay. I'm curious what the M202 Flash would have been like, because I didn't really get a chance to use that. But for 80 points, could be decent. The M80V, actually pretty solid for like a nice flanking vehicle. Again, in the infantry tab, it's really good. Rangers Roars are exceptional. You got 3 Moors with 600mm heat penetration, and each of those Moors has 6 shots, and they can just overwhelm any vehicle at close range. Insane. Delta Force are cracked against enemy infantry, like for real. You probably want to have them in standoff in this case. I haven't set that up. But yeah, at range, they're just going to mince enemy infantry. There's nothing that can really match up to them. Mech Rifle AA are just there because I like to have man pads, but they're also bringing in the M2A4 Bradley, and Bradleys are still super strong. I thought they were really strong in the previous beta, but then they buffed them again in this beta, or in this press-only build, made them cheaper. So yeah, I mean, you just take advantage of that. These guys are fantastic. Double grenade launcher squads. Grenade launchers do a decent amount of damage to light vehicles. And then you've got mech engineers for like your close range, cleaning things out for cheap. So that's nice as well. Then you've got, of course, your M1A2 and V3 and V2 trophies. So you've got like super solid tanks with the assault breacher for taking out infantry from buildings. You've got the Patriot that can back you up. The Patriot Pack 2, not as good as the Pack 3, but still really good. And then you've got PVADs to just shoot down missiles that are coming in for them. Some artillery just in case you need it. And then the SHORADs, which are pretty spot on. The only trouble with the SHORAD is it doesn't have active protection, so that kind of lets it down. But then alongside all of that, you do still have access to the stealthy Comanche. And the Comanche, this thing can do some wild things when you flank with it. It really, really can. A Killer Egg, super cheap Hellfire helicopter. Great for shutting down expensive tank pushes from the opponents. Then you've got a couple of transport helicopters in there, the Guardian. And then your air tab, like I said, is a bit weak. The F-22 Raptor is really not that good. I find the Su-57 just like so much better than the Raptor's ever been. The Raptor, I don't know what it is. It's kind of struggling to get shots on target. But F-35 with JDAMs, really nice. I think the F-35 solid attack aircraft. If you use it either with JDAMs or you use it with the JSOs, I think is probably the best loadouts for it. But in this case, I do have the Nighthawk. Oh, this one I actually changed to have the JASSM. So this is a cruise missile. You just have it come in on the edge of the map, drop the cruise missiles and leave, basically. And it's a very safe aircraft to do that with because literally nothing is touching it with its stealth. So yeah, special armor. I think probably one of the strongest armored decks, or US decks, I mean. I think this is really nice. Again, struggling in the air, but everywhere else, super solid. So yeah, it's going to be a nice one for climbing the rank ladder, I think. Special Striker, also super fun. I think, I didn't try out Strikers as much as I should have. There are some seriously nasty combos with the Strikers. The way you want to use Strikers is you kind of keep them at max range and use their javelins. If anything's getting closer, then in this case for like the Recon here, you get the Bushmaster 2 on target, or you just get the machine gun on target. Like 50 cal still going to do a decent amount of damage. But yeah, Special Striker, again, you're benefiting from all that really nice infantry like the Rangers Roars, the Green Berets, the Rangers RRC, and the Rangers Snipers, and the Ranger with grenade launchers. But you're also getting, troopers with these Javelin Trophy Strikers. So yeah, active protection. You've got like javelins out the wazoo on these really fast vehicles. Bookers, surprisingly good. Like I thought when I first jumped into this, they weren't going to be that great because they're kind of in the middle of like a tank and an APC when it comes to armor. But that 300mm of frontal armor, surprisingly tanky. Striker HGMs are decent. Battleships absolutely useless, but it was fun to try. I'd probably take that out of there. The Striker with the main gun system, it's not that good. Just because the things it's trying to engage is I don't know. You're never doing enough damage. Like you might as well just have javelins. Javelins. That's what this deck was all about with the Strikers. And then you've obviously got the autocannon if you need to deal with light vehicles on this one, for example. Whereas the gun system here is just, it takes too long. It takes too long to reload. It doesn't have much ammo. It's not that good. Otherwise, support. In the support tab, this is super fun. I mean, Patriot Pack 3 is really, really strong. You've got the Centurion C-Round there. Yeah, so super good. Artillery is a little lacking. Although you probably just want to bring HIMARS rather than the Strikers here. I wanted to try out the self-propelled howitzers, but they're not too powerful, so you probably just want to stick with HIMARS and use the warheads here to kill enemy AA or artillery or whatever's causing you issues, because they've got the decent range and they've got decent damage, and you can laser guide them if you get some snipers into a good position. This MML, it was fun to use, but not too strong, honestly. I think in situations where you get the radar on and there's a lot of ballistic missiles firing around, this could be a good thing for intercepting those. but otherwise I didn't find too much use out of it. It was fun to use the Hellfires on it, but again, yeah, it's it's just too weak really to use it with Hellfires, especially if you're going to actually target ground targets with it. But yeah, this tab, pretty decent. I don't know if I need the M107 for the 15,000 supply when you can just bring in the Hemmet with the downgrade. Actually, the Hemmet's just expensive. Okay, yeah, never mind. That's why I'm bringing that. So Helitab, Comanche, again, really good. Guardian, fantastic. In this case, I do have the Hydra rockets on it. I think always upgrading to the Dagger guided rockets is always worth it. So yeah, I would recommend that, and also always bring the ECM. Like 25% ECM is fantastic. I've got another killer egg with the Hellfires there. And then your air tab here is much better than it is. So I would say like Special Striker, much more like fast deck, plus good air. And then you've got Special Armor, which is a solid deck, but much more ground focused. A lot more sort of, I guess, slow with the heavy armor play is probably more the way to put it. So you got fast and then slow, but both of them are super good. And then the air tab here is really, really fun. So I've got two Raptors. We've got two F-16 CJs, which have 4 seed missiles. I've got the F-117 with JSOs, which is okay. I think, honestly, the JASSAMs is the best way to go with the Nighthawk from what I've tried out. But then I've got an F-16 Viper here with some LJ dams. I think I'd probably take the Nighthawk out of this and try and do something else here. Or I could just upgrade that and take the AC-130 out, because the AC-130 it needs adjustment. It's not that good at the moment. I reckon they might adjust it for launch, so it's more impactful, but it takes a while to aim. Once it does aim, and if there's no AA around, it can absolutely rip, but it kind of struggles to get there really, really badly. So yeah, these work. Anyway, tank Moto deck. So this is the guards plus motorized. This deck is OP because of the S300 combination. You can have 2 sets of S300s, so you can be the AA for your entire team if you set this up properly. So S300s, there is a game that I played where I did this, and it was pretty good, so I'll try and get that up on the channel. But either way, super strong combination, and I've also got OSA KMs in there as well. When they have radar on, they can actually fire on the move, because when you have the stabilize upgrade, so that's super fun. And Derevatsaya, just like so good as a unit that can fire support against enemy infantry and APCs, but also deal with helicopters, particularly like Apaches and stuff, can take them down pretty quickly if they're not moving. So that's something. I do have the grads in there for the incendiary. We've got the Vinner for just like mortars. I don't know if I really need this. It might be better to just have like I don't know, the Muster or something, or maybe like one less grad. I haven't entirely figured out this support tab, to be honest. All I know is that having 4 S300s is really strong right now, and they're kind of underpriced in my opinion. They're kind of cheap. They probably need a little bit of a nerf in price-wise. Anyway, vehicle tab is decent enough. I mean, you can bring the T14 if you want it. In this case, I'm just bringing the T90M because I feel like tanks at the moment in this build was a bit weak. It just felt like they took too long to kill things in general. Unless you're getting like side shots and rear shots, it's just, you know, they're throwing shots backwards and forwards while all of the missiles are doing the work, you know, like the Corner M here, for example, with the 1200mm of heat. This can like 2-shot a tank in the front armor, but the T90 with its main gun is going to take like 5 shots, 6 shots. So tanks just didn't really feel very impactful. Regardless, overall, this deck, its air tab is weak. I've got like a MiG-29 again, just to deal with drones basically. Su-25 for dealing with like super heavy targets if I'm getting overwhelmed. And then we've got a little bit of seed there to supplement the Su-25. Infantry's fine, I guess. SSO again, underwhelming. Engineers, you just need engineers. You don't really need SSO. Just replace them with something else. Guards are good still. 900mm RPG 26 or 28, sorry, is decent. The Metis is okay, but yeah, it's just kind of a little support squad on the side. UAZ Kozlek, you see I've got like 4 of these in this deck. They're super, super fun. The BRM with the 57, it's really good. And again, the Diversanti with the RPG 30, really good. Just for like ambushing units whilst also providing decent recon. So yeah, it's an interesting deck. It's more of like a support deck for your team. You can build up quite heavily and make some armored pushes with it, but yeah, it's very much like reliant on the support tab. So it's not really, again, one of my favorites. VDB Coastal, this was the last deck that I made, I think. VDB Coastal was one of my favorite combinations in the previous beta. Spetsnaz VMF are absolutely cracked because they have double anti-material rifle on the fire support loadout, which is really, really good. They just wipe out infantry from a distance and they can kill light vehicles very easily. Then I've got like 4 squads of snipers as well. These are on suppressed loadout, so these are the ones that I'm actually going to like be spreading out to stay hidden around the map. And then I've got the Spetsnaz VMF that are just going to be like killing everything for me. So they kind of use them more of as a frontline unit than the VDV snipers. Got a couple drones in there. Drones are just useful for when like there's no AA, or if you just need to like scout the flanks or something. BRDM, good again for flanking with the cords here, the Sarmat cord. And then VDV Spetsnaz are actually just close range infantry. That's what you use them for. So yeah, you got VDV, Spetsnaz VMF for long range, VDV Spetsnaz for close range. And then in your infantry tab, you've got Iglas for your man pads with the Skrezets. The Skrezets are actually really useful to have because they absolutely rip infantry and also provide the Igla. So you kind of get 2 for your buck there, and also I think 2 Igla squads fit in 1 Skrezet, so that's why I've got it set up that way. I do have the Chenye, they're okay. They've got a decent launcher. I really wish they had the RPG-28, it would make them absolutely perfect, but in this case, just the RPG-27. Oh, you can upgrade them to have the RPG-28. Okay, never mind, my bad. Yeah, so that would be 130 points. It's pretty expensive. But yeah, regardless, decent squad with the RPG-28. And can overwhelm enemy infantry, but going to struggle against specialized anti-infantry. Cornet M squad, fantastic because you get 2 Cornets. The Moskaya, just useful to bring in like cheap infantry to hold up the front line. Metis M, good for those situations where you've got the 1,200 meter range. Like there are places in like particularly some like cities and stuff where 1,200 meters range is all you need, and the Metis M1 is 900 millimeters of heat penetration, so really nice. You've got a decent enough tank in the T80 BVM. The only thing about this is it doesn't have active protection, so you do have to worry about that a little bit. The Sprut's not very good. Cornet D1's nice though because of the ripple fire. In terms of the support tab, you're kind of struggling here because, I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't take the Iskander because the Iskander is a little bit of a meme, but you can bring it in on the edge of the map and you can just fire off all of the cruise missiles and then sell it instantly. It's usually the best way to use it. Vityaz, really solid anti-air, but you're going to want to accompany it with these ZSU-23-4 with the radar on, so it can shoot down enemy missiles. And then you got Kamaz. It's probably one of the weakest parts about this deck is its supply is either reliant on the Kamaz, which can only carry 2,000 supply, or the Vityaz, which is super, super slow. But yeah, Nonna is cool. I actually really like the Nonna. The fact that it can like fire and then like move really quickly out of the way is really, really nice. You can use that or the Drock here. But the Nonna is nice because it's 120 mil rather than 82 mil. And you're better off having it on wheels than you are having it on tracks, so that's why you picked that one. Helicopter tab, I mean, you got Mi-28s. In this case, I've got some Lemurs, we've got some Vikids, we've got the Igla, and then my Alligator here is just used as a anti-air. Honestly, it's just for dealing with enemy helicopters, and it can do that very well because it's very tanky. It's got 30 armor, it's got 25% ECM. Super, super good for engaging enemy helicopters. And then I've got an Mi-8, which also comes with rockets and anti-air. honestly, these like stray igloos are really good for just taking out enemy aircraft that try and dive them. So that's one reason I like those. And then the air tab, this air tab surprised me because I used to really like the Su-34 with a loadout where it used like anti-radiation missiles and then like a CAB 1500 smart bomb. But I've changed it now to basically the same setup, but with a Fab 3000. I found this out way too late in the press build, but basically this is a much better way to use these now. It's just like dumb bomb, just throw it at the enemy wherever you need it, and GTFO for 390 points. Super effective, especially with like the ECM pods on. You get 20% ECM. Su-57, as good as ever. This thing is absolutely awesome. It's very fast, and it turns on a dime, so you can dodge missiles very easily with it. And whilst shooting down enemies with the R-77s, you don't really need the R-37. I feel like long-range missiles are unreliable, so I just prefer to use the mid-range missiles. And then we got the MiG-35 with 4 anti-radiation missiles, and we've got the Su-30 with KH-59 cruise missiles. So I'm a big fan of these. They're really good for disabling heavier tanks from a distance because they have a 6,000 meter range. So pretty safe aircraft to use whilst providing a lot of damage. So yeah, VDV Coastal, still one of my favourite decks, honestly. The combination of decent air tab plus really good infantry gameplay is super fun. But it's got to be played in a team where you have other people doing the rests, like covering the air properly, because one bit Jazz isn't going to do that. Like, you need somebody with some S300s. Whereas I feel like on the US side, like the Special Armor and Special Striker kind of carry themselves, because the Special Armor gets the Patriot Pack 2, and then the Special Striker still gets the Pack 3, and it still has like the same sort of options elsewhere. So the US with the Special seems like way more well-rounded. And so I really like these decks. Airborne Marine's still super fun. Like the US decks in general I liked more than the Russian decks that I built this time around, although VDV Coastal is still super fun. Yeah, so that's kind of like my overview of my decks that I built through the press build, and some of my opinions of the things that I was thinking about during the press build. It was really interesting to get back into it. I would have liked to have spent way more time building more decks, but didn't really get around to it, unfortunately, because I was just too busy playing, of course. I mean, I know you guys are all looking forward to playing, and I hope to see you all in the game in June. But that's all from me for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.